you'll see a lot of the same from us tonight on the back end. So, yeah.
So the reason for, I think it was like Uyghur and Australia were paired together, like is that
Yeah,
just...
they'll see some shifts together, but you'll also see Uyghur and Anderson together. So, yeah.
We don't see a ton of the Flyers out here. What do you see when you look at their group?
They're deserving of their record this year with the way they play the game. So they're an honest, hardworking team. I guess that's the one way you could probably describe them. And they've had a lot of success lately. I think it's 12 of 13 they've had points in. And they're one of the best road teams in the NHL. And that's due to the way and how hard they play. Mm-hmm.
Michael Backlund's creeping up on Mark Giordano for second place on the all-time games played list. You've seen a lot of Michael over the years. What is it about him that allows him to be so consistent and so effective?
There's a few guys that you can talk about true pros. He's most definitely one of them. So the way he approaches his business day to day, he's in excellent shape. So that's one thing. But he treats every day like it's the most important day. And I'm sure that was from when he was a young 19, 20-year-old to the way he is right now. So what's in front of him, he's really good about that. And I think that's allowed him to play for a long period of time, and it's allowed him to be a really good player for this organization for a number of years.
Blake Coleman's going to hit game 500 tonight. What adjectives come to mind when you think of him?
A lot. He's skilled. He's a pest. He's everything. Like, he's a hardworking guy. He's one of those glue guys on a team where he brings people together, and he often sets the standard for how hard the team plays. That's why he's had opportunities to and has won a couple Stanley Cups. He's one of those people that you want on the ice when the game's on the line.
500 games for him, Husk. If you looked at, if you could go back and watch all 499 before that, how consistent do you think, his game would be as you just described? What makes him so successful?
Yeah, I would guess that if you watched his first few in the NHL, you'd see the same thing that you see right now. And I talked to his mom when we were in Texas last time we were there, and he's always, from what it sounds like, from a young guy on, been the hardest working guy. And I think him, or he, a lot like Michael Backlund, is another true pro, where he makes sure that he does everything he can to be ready to play every night. And that sounds like it was that way from a young age.
As you're bringing in some new faces, we've seen obviously Pospisil and Zari and some guys in your minor league club come up this year. How important is it to maintain a cohesive team by having guys like Backlund and Coleman sort of in the room to sort of set the tone?
Yeah, they oftentimes when guys come up, they look to certain key players. And whether it's, a hey, welcome type thing, or, watching a player do things the right way, how he handles himself on game day, they're great examples of what they should be like, but they're very approachable people too. So sometimes when you're just being called up for your first game, or you've only played a few games in the NHL, it can be a little bit daunting at time when you're walking into a new dressing room, but having people like that, they have a way to make people feel comfortable right away.
Martin Hathaway, you guys worked together in the minors, and he actually said that he owes a lot of his career to you because you kind of taught him what he needed to do to make the NHL. What do you remember from your days working with him?
He was one of the hardest working guys I've seen. So if you look at players that kind of will themselves to the NHL, he's an example of it, where maybe the skill set wasn't the greatest, but when we had him in the minors, he found a way to generate a lot by just being a hard-working guy. So I had a lot of respect and time for him because of the way he approached his game. And when you see players that work as hard as he does on a daily basis, because the NHL is the end goal and I'm going to do everything I can to stay in there, you have to have a lot of respect for a player like that.